She didn't like it that much.
Dating story with my husband when we were in school. You know, the whole don't touch the bill, and I quit touching the bill. And one time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna treat you. And so we went to this restaurant that we really, really like. And the bill came. I took my card out. I just threw it in there and laid it back on the table. And I was like, man, why these people ain't come to get the billfold or whatever? He's like, first of all, it's not sitting straight up, so they don't know to come.
Yep.
The card's not on top where they can see it. He's like, man, you really have no idea.
Damn, so Erin, your whole life you don't ever pay no bill.
It's not that. It's just more, I'm going to be honest.
That makes sense, though.
You got lucky in life.
I say this all the time. I've been so lucky in dating. It is crazy. Like, I probably didn't even start paying to like treat my dad to a meal until just a few years ago. Because if me and my daddy, we going out to eat, who paying?
So is
Daddy.
Is it fair to say that
Daddy.
most women don't know the plight of a man?
I really don't know. I can't speak for most
No, you
women.
can't. But you can't really assume all the time either, because every man is different. You would think that every man would, see the bill and put it to the side like you would like that. It's courteous, but not a lot of people do that.
Because they don't know.
Not because they don't know, because they don't want to pay. You don't know. You don't know who you're sitting across from. You don't know what kind of man this is. If it's the first kind of date,
Okay.
in that kind of scenario. I feel like if you're dating that person, then you know what's up. Then you would know if y'all splitting the bill, he's taking care of the bill, anything like that.
I only say the splitting the bill thing. Only reason I really say that is really like more like for women who trying to use guys for dates and not going out to know them. I always think a man should pay, right? But if you know she's gaming you and she's playing you and she's just using you for a meal, stand up for yourself.
Do you feel like men recognize that? Or
A lot of men can't tell the difference.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Nah, they could tell. They just feelings are hurt and they're in denial about it. They're like, I don't want to admit this to myself, so I'm just pay.
I feel like they still pay because they, are still hopeful that they can, get something out of them paying for this meal.
All right, so the last hope is like maybe he'll get some ass.
Yeah.
And
But even if he knows he's being used, like he's like, but
It's not a good feeling.
it's not.
But the truth is, dude, you're not gonna get no ass.
But you never know.
Nah, don't be in that wish
No,
business.
stop it.
never know.
That's the reason why they're doing foolery, because you never know exists. The real reality is you do know.
And
Wait, what do you mean?
Like
If
you
they
never know
know,
you're gonna.
like, why take
You
them
never
out?
know you're gonna get. You never know that you're not gonna
People like
get
being
any
abused.
ass.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
But
saying.
you strip that out, and you need to know
it.
when you're gonna get it and when you're not, and stop hoping and wishing.
Because there's nothing wrong with paying the bill. There's nothing wrong with being a gentleman. It's just that don't put yourself in that predicament where somebody's playing you.
Yeah, or
You know what I
using
mean? Or using you. And then the thing about it is that for a while, women got away with that for a long time. Or I just go with guys out to eat. Oh, this one's going to take me out to eat this. And it's like nothing happening. And the guy, he's just like walking in blindly. And he doesn't see the signs. He doesn't understand what's going on. That's when you got to hit him with the shock.
But you know what, Alan?
The bill in the middle.
That goes back to
Leave the bill in the middle.
that goes back to people like to it really being a skill to date. Because if you really want to get to know somebody, just taking on spending all your money on dinners is not getting you anywhere. So why do you continue to do that? It seems like it makes Lonnie's like yelling at me over there.
I'm sorry.
It seems like it makes more sense to I don't know, curate a date where you can actually get to know the person if 30 dates prior, all you did was go eat and nothing happened. No connection,
even if
nothing.
The dinner or the lunch, the food date was how you got to sit down and get to know somebody. Let's not keep doing that though.
For sure.
That's okay if that's the first date. It could be the first date, but let's not keep going on multiple dates where all we do is eat food.
A lot of men have that. A lot of men have that as a last resort and first option.
What, dinner?
Food, anything going out to
Yeah.
eat, because they know that even if you're not interested in them, that's their way of buying time.
What do you mean?
Oh, that makes
So
sense.
it's like I know that Amanda has not given me the time and energy that typically a woman that is interested in me would give.
Okay.
If I offer her a date that is of a restaurant that she would like, she's not going to turn down the restaurant. She'll turn me down, but she won't turn down the restaurant.
So you're securing that time with her.
So you're buying that time.
You could at least get 2 hours.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I could get 2 hours with
You
you.
gotta sell yourself in 2 hours.
You have to sell yourself for 2 hours because you got to think. If I said, hey, Amanda, let's go hiking, she'd be like, I don't hike, even if she did, right?
Yeah,
But I'd be like, let's go to Catch. And she loves Catch.
she's going to Catch.
She's going to go to Catch. So she will turn me down, but she won't turn down that restaurant. So that's why he's like, all right, cool. That's my first option and my last resort and my best move, which is crippling because what ends up happening is that dude never comes up with creativity to learn how to date.
You know,
I understand that scenario, but I feel like not all girls are gonna accept the Catch date just because they love Catch.
No, I'm
You know
just
what I'm
saying.
Really?
What? No, it's
about
because
90%.
If Catch is my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah, let's be
restaurant,
real.
I don't want to go to my favorite restaurant with some guy I don't like.
no, you do like him. Obviously, he wouldn't approach you if you didn't like him.
Well, you give him
The mistake that most men I think end up making, honestly, like to me, this is the biggest mistake. Is like you don't have conversation skills, and you're putting yourself in a position where you're at a
have to
disadvantage.
converse. Yes.
losing position.
You're in a losing position. But if you have
Excellent
clubbing
point.
skills, find a way to bring her to the club or a party or something like that. But if you don't have conversation skills, it's like going to defend yourself in a in a courtroom, and you don't know the law.
So maybe that's what it is, Alan. Maybe it's not dating. Maybe people, I won't even say just men, maybe people lack the ability to converse and like how to ask questions and to probe and get to know somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it really is.
It is because you can't duck but so many questions. If she's using you for that $250 dinner tab you're about to pay, if you have skills and the way you
You
speak,
can finesse it.
you could know.
You could definitely finesse it.
And that's another thing too, right? So a lot of men, what ends up happening is men are scared to ask questions, right?
Because they don't want to mess up the box.
They don't want to mess it up. They're like men, like I don't want to say all men when they're dating and they're actively dating. I'm talking about that initial dating point period, right? They don't want to ask the wrong question that's going to turn her off. So they're like tiptoeing around everything that they really want to say, everything that they really want to show, right? And that always backfires unless you're a good tightrope walker,
Yeah.
right? Which usually takes time with a lot of experience. So I would say one of the best ways to, help your dating skills is just to be honest and just to be direct. And if she doesn't like that question, then you mark that on that do not like list, right? And then the ones that she does like, then you mark that on that like list. And then really you should have a mental tab or organization within that woman that you're dating. And you understand her likes and her dislikes, but you're not going to be able to understand it when you're trying to tiptoe about questions that actually kind of reveal your true personality, right? The questions that I would ask is going to show you a lot about how I think, a lot about who I am. So when I try to ask you all the questions outside of who I am and what I think, now what ends up happening is she could like somebody that is not you, or she could not like somebody who is not you. So you're in a lose-lose majority of the time, a lose-lose situation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I want to say something, right? E, look at me real quick, just for 2 seconds. All right. You see my face?
I love
That's
this.
the person talking. Okay. All right. Just so y'all say I don't show. All right. You see it, right? All right. All right. Let's move it.
Never
back.
again.
You might as well just keep the solo shot.
All right. No, because it's like.
Just because.
First of all-
Oh, okay.
Can I just say one thing?
So sorry.
For real.
This cheese and this cracker, whatever, what brand is? I don't know what brand this cheese and this cracker is,
You want me to make your plate?
but this is amazing. I haven't tried the grapes. I haven't tried the strawberries.
thought you was
I
asking
won't be
Rico.
eating the pork.
You're right.
But the cheese and the grape.
Oh my God, that is great. Where'd you learn that from? Ratatouille?
She said
Say
ratatouille.
what?
No, yeah, I learned that from Ratatouille.
Oh.
Whenever it does that, switch over to.
Oh, well, we take.
I don't have. Wait, I have a cognac.
Give me the.
Nah. Wait, am I? I'm drinking whiskey.
Whenever it does that, switch over to the 3.
What'd you want? The plate? Oh,
I'm not drinking whiskey.
No, it's not that.
What-
It's
yeah.
this.
Wait, Yumi made it. Yumi, what am I
Isn't
drinking?
that by itself?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You don't know what the sauce is?
Oh, so it's whiskey.
You don't know what the
Yeah,
sauce
yeah.
is? So you're just the type
Yeah,
of
can you
person
take
that just
all-
be eating
take-
sauce just to eat sauce?
Take all of those. All of it.
I thought you said you was good.
Well, I didn't want to like do all of this, meaning I could have waited. Can I have one of those napkins?
So
Yeah. We will be getting 8 at the table napkins, guys. Right, Alan?
yeah. So you know what we'll do?
Rico was apparently gonna make. So
We will. So if this dies, then we'll just be able to cover those 3 solos with that one because the battery's low. Okay. All right. So
Wait, so how do you eat what is the proper way to eat
charcuterie.
charcuterie board.
charcuterie board with your grape and
French
cheese?
onion dip.
You just eat it together. What do
Oh
you
my
mean?
God.
Like, what do you
So
eat?
last
Like,
night
you just,
we
like,
had
put the cheese on top of the grape?
burrata
Yeah.
toast
What kind of
with
cheese is
the Luxardo cherries on it.
Colby Jack.
I would have never ordered that. It was fantastic. Again,
What was on
This
there?
it was essentially cheese and it was cheese which is mild, so it was burrata, so it was mild like mozzarella, like fresh mozzarella with Luxardo cherries, like those really deep colored cherries that they put in like
Is it
Manhattan.
like little mini cherries?
Yeah, but they're the ones they're really dark color. They put them in like Manhattans and stuff like that. I think Manhattans.
I think.
But anyway,
Cheese and grapes.
something I would have never ordered. It was fantastic. Yeah. Oh my God.
Right.
Wow.
We were looking at other people's doing their shows. Do you know that even their control room, everybody in the control room got a mic?
To talk, I love that.
I think
Yeah.
Lonnie needs a mic.
Yeah, everybody in the control
Marie
room
definitely
has
needs a mic.
Marie definitely needs a mic.
Yeah, Marie
So
needs a mic.
we gotta
for sure.
get like a bigger board and get like 8 mics because people on YouTube are relentless when they're like, we want to hear this. We want to hear what people in the back are saying. And they come for you
Everybody's so nosy.
in the
I've been
comments.
saying it for a long time.
Yes, they come for you in the comments.
This is why.
This is why she needs a mic.
Give her a mic.
All right. Well, they're not even going to be able to hear that. But listen to this, guys. So going on today's topic.
Oh, wait, I was gonna segue into that.
Okay, but all right. I have something
Okay.
really good.
Go ahead.
But go ahead, segue into
No,
it.
go ahead. I want you to.
But
The
Aaron's
fight
not
for
going
the
to
segment.
agree.
The fight for the segment.
Aaron's not going to agree, so I'm going to pass her the computer.
No.
to see
I'll
what
just
I say.
introduce it and then we can go into it.
Okay.
So, guys, obviously this has gone on a tangent, but make sure you check out Daybox. And everyone knows this show is about love, sex, and relationships. However, we've actually never had a conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, about the evolution of love and how it's even become the basis of a relationship or the basis of a marriage, you know? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, the history, the evolution, and really where we are and really where we see it going, because relationships and marriages were not always based on love as they are today. So from the last, 3,000-4,000 years to where we are now. Yeah.
Is it 1,000, right?
I think it's more than that.
It's more than 1,000? I don't have the
Yeah,
facts.
I think it's more than that. But we're not done. This evolution is not done. It's going to keep evolving. Like, people might start, loving their best friends and get married,
Okay.
I've actually just seen some shenanigans like that.
So I'm just saying, like,
Shenanigans?
where we are now is not
Try not to
what
curse.
love is going to be and look like in 40, 50 years.
But that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're going to go back to what it was. Because maybe what I was going to say is that maybe dating is not natural.
No,
I
it's
just
not.
looked it up.
The whole room is
Maybe
disagreeing with you.
dating is not natural. Because when people are going on dates on one-on-one, you're doing something that's not natural to your nature. You're
not
with a
natural to your
completely
nature.
because think about it.
Why?
People, which date would somebody rather go on? Someone that you and Darren hook up and say, hey, this is my cousin. She's from Texas. She's this and that. She has a whole background. I'm going to introduce you guys. Come to the house. You guys meet. And they come around a few times and all of a sudden they're going out. Like, it's like an evolution or some type of way for them to meet. And then they know your family, you know their family. Everybody kind of is in a group.
Yes.
I noticed that those work.
Absolutely.
Because
Recommended.
because it's such a group setting. Everybody's together. Little by little, that person's like, oh, okay, like Amanda's out, but her mother's with her. Her sisters are with her. His brothers and his cousins, everybody's together, and they're like, yo, Amanda, you should talk to
I agree.
Bobby. and then you're kind of like going at it, and everybody's involved in sort of like such a communal way, and then all of a sudden you guys end up together.
Of course, that makes the
You know
most
why I
sense.
don't like that? Because if Bobby start cheating on me, one of y'all motherfuckers know. I know.
Of course they do.
I know y'all know. And y'all just here, y'all just smiling in my
But
face.
at
I don't
least-
like that.
And we can't be friends no more.
But that's different. You know what? You know what happens a lot of times. A lot of people that just have what we call it. What are we gonna call it? Freelance dating.
What's that?
Freelance dating was the opposite of what we just.
Oh, we can just
described.
be out meeting
Yeah,
people.
you're just a freelance dater.
Yeah.
Like you just meet somebody new. You know nothing about them. You know nothing about their history. You know nothing about their family.
Definitely
you know
more
nothing.
risky.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, they start. Everybody has to come clean and show not even who they are, but who they were, right? And then they also have to show the history of their parents and the history of their family and the dynamic of all of them. And then usually what happens is there's always a big piece of that you don't like, right? It'd be a girl.
Or that really never comes out.
Or, I mean, but you get what I'm saying? Like, let's say it's like, yo, Erin, I really love you. You're dope, but I hate all of your friends. I can't stand them. That happens very often.
I can see that.
So now you got the friends that be like, yo, I hate your boyfriend, or I
You get
hate
on
your
my
girlfriend, or whom. Yeah, you know, so now you got the friends hating the spouse because it wasn't really a community type of thing to begin with, you know? Versus if, you know, Alan is vouching for you and Marie is vouching for me, and we are all within the same space.
Different energy.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely
like,
agree.
you know, my friends trust you, and we have the same friends. You know what the hardest thing is? I've always found with every relationship, I don't think I've ever gotten along with all of my girlfriend's friends.
There's always that one.
There's always one or two that I can't stand, and they usually are the closest to her.
But those odds are good.
Yeah.
One or two, you know.
Well, you know, most
if she's the
most people have like 4 or 5. Yeah. And it's like, yo, your closest one has to be that one. Like, come on, this one is so much better. But like, you know what I'm saying? And
the one that's so much better is kind of the friend that she don't really hang out with
the most.
that often. Like, that's her friend. They cool. They kick it. You know, when everybody's around. But
Is she the best one? I'm like, yo,
Right.
come
But she's
on.
not the best one. That's why she ain't kicking it with her.
But she looks like the best one. Like,
she's probably the boring one, actually.
well, the exciting one may be having, you know, toxic excitement, right?
Oh, yeah,
You want
that's
to know
how it
something?
be.
Now that you say that, like, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I think maybe out of everybody I've ever dated, it's always been somebody that I knew, like, we were already friends.
That's why you ain't never pay for no bill.
Probably. But we were like already friends. I already knew this person, you know, knew their family. Like we already had some type of established foundation. But the one guy, and I've talked about him a lot on here. I never said his name, but I talked to him a lot. The one guy who wasn't a friend, he was still we had similar friends in common.
Yeah.
So it still kind of ended up being one of those situations where they vouched for him, and I guess whoever else vouched for me, because we all like kind of knew each other.
Everybody I've dated was like that.
Apparently, I mean, maybe it's a comfort thing
No,
No,
it is a
it's-
comfort thing because I don't feel comfortable like
with strangers.
strangers. Like, oh, I like you. What's your name? Like, I want to get to know you. I don't.
Stranger danger.
Well, I had a lot of strangers, so there's a lot of women that are comfortable with strangers, and the
Like
problem,
that. I mean, you know, women, they are.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely
Doesn't work.
exists. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, but in my life, it hasn't, right?
Okay.
And it's very hard because it's like, yo, it's very hard because it comes to a point where you're just like, I don't really know you. And it's like every year something happens where I'm learning something else about you
that you don't like.
that maybe I do like, or maybe I don't like, or maybe that I don't like that it has happened, but maybe you have grown from that point, but it's still in your
It's
in your
still a learning
history.
experience.
You know what I'm saying? And like when you're in high school, I think it's a comfort thing when you're dating people who have the same friend group, right?
It's the most.
Because
The
you know,
easiest.
yeah, like,
Same town.
and you know what the thing is like as a man, if I'm dating Erin and Erin and me have the same, Erin and I, and we have the same friend group, circle of friends, I automatically am going to have more respect for her and be more delicate with her than if I was to date Erin and we had nobody that we knew.
Stranger.
She's a complete stranger. I don't owe her any respect, any you know, delicacy versus I'm not gonna
Well,
be.
her resume is spoken through the people that she knows.
Yeah,
That's how you vet.
But we also don't know the people that she knows when she's a stranger. We don't know her.
I'm talking about if you grew up around each other.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's better. But when you don't know that person or their friends, you're like,
That's what maybe people should do. Maybe there should be like a dating group where no one dates for real right off the bat, but it's like a 1-year dating group. You do activities twice a month. Everybody just comes, and over the next year, people been around each other for 12 months. Then you start
We're
dating
kind of
that
familiar.
person.
that's called an MTV show.
Wait, no,
I've been
I
on
think they
those.
have something like that. No, I think they have something like that.
Creator reality.
Yeah.
I think it's
Are you
called
the
like
one?
Meetup
Like-
or something.
Love. What's
I think
it
it's called Meetup. Like they have them in different cities. Like if you're new to a city, you sign up to go meet people with similar interests, and you could be playing dodgeball. Y'all can be making paint or whatever people do as hobbies. Like you go and do those things because everybody has that similar interest of doing that particular thing.
Okay.
So it kind of cultivates like an environment for people to get to know each other. Find some romantic partner or whatever. But I think this actually exists somewhere.
Do you think it was easier 1,000 years ago, according to what you guys researched, to get married and be with somebody than it is today?
Of course,
Absolutely.
It is. It was.
guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Jesus
for them both. Oh gosh, here we go.
Go ahead.
You did the research. In all fairness, Marie, you should really sit, because then you could join the conversation way better.
I'm trying to think of a reason that it wouldn't be as easy for the woman.
It was so much better, I think. You knew each other, families knew each other. families
No, they didn't necessarily know each other. It was, if we're talking about like long time ago, people were getting married for consolidation of wealth and power. Period.
Wait, long is how long?
Like I don't know.
It was strictly transactional.
I don't know, like BC. Like people.
Nah, not that long.
No, I'm saying like it was like that long ago.
But you gotta think about it. That long ago. 4th century. Okay.
It still happens today, though.
That's
about
definitely- That's AD, right? 4th century, yeah.
No, I think it's BC.
Okay, you see, y'all losing me with the letters now.
After death and before Christ. So 4th century would be AD,
Okay.
right?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. You're right.
Before 0 going up would
Yeah.
be AD.
I think so.
So, but my thing is, if you think about it, right? Back then too, communities were smaller already. Reputation was held within the communities for everybody and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know who you
Right
were
there.
dating,
No,
even if you're like, damn, I really wanted Joseph, but I got Simon, right? Listen,
Dragon
Simon, you're a cool guy. We don't know who you are, but it's just an analogy. But you'll be like, well, I do know what Simon is already capable of because the whole
Community.
35 of us.
The town.
Yeah, the village. The
Yeah,
village
exactly.
knows everybody. So I don't think that women and men back we're talking 4th, 5th, 6th century were probably as picky or as entitled to characteristics and personality traits as we are today in 2022. I'm the guy of like, yo, she has to look this way, she has to act this way. That's the type of woman I want. Some other guy might pick a different woman. But back then it'd be like, it doesn't matter what you really want, sir. We only
Right.
have 30 women in this village, and you're gonna have woman number 7, and even if you want woman number 8. And the same thing goes for the women. People weren't really picking, besides the royalty. People weren't picking in these small communities or small villages back then their favorite.
You have no options, really.
Yeah, which works best.
Well, if you were a high performer, you had options, no?
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
that's different.
But that's called royalty.
And it was about status. It was about status. Too.
That's changed.
No.
Well, no. Well, okay.
It being the overarching like theme of and basis of a marriage, yes, it has.
Aaron, you would marry a baker?
Huh?
If he made a lot of money.
Okay, let's
Huh?
change the occupation.
Wait, what if he was a what if he was a rich
Don't
baker?
do that.
You do understand that that's where.
All right, not a baker.
No, I'm fine with the
Choose
baker.
another word.
All right, would you
We're
marry
not gonna.
somebody?
There's no correlation.
You think
Aaron.
that most women would marry a
That's
guy
what
that
my
makes
family's based on.
You
minimum wage?
almost made me spend $25,000 today.
To answer your question.
So we should really say that, and in an honest thing, right? in 2022, we're talking about the history of marriage and the history of love. We said it was about status, power, different things. You only had certain options, right? In reality, if you're a person who makes minimum wage, how many women want to marry a man who makes minimum wage?
In which state?
The whole country.
It depends.
Because
Whole
some of
country.
the minimum wage in New York like 15. Minimum wage in Texas like 7.
How much can you afford in New York? You know, New York is expensive.
But the question
Like a little
is,
Bronx apartment,
can a,
can't get-
would
Brian,
a
you
woman
can't
want to
do that.
marry a man who makes minimum wage?
Ideally, probably not. But I would say that a man making minimum wage likely isn't where he wants to be.
Forget about what he wants, Erin. I'm
Okay.
asking you if we're trying to connect 10,000,
No.
5,000 years ago till
No.
today.
It was real
No.
simple. No.
Okay.
What if we both make minimum wage? We could
No,
be
but that's the difference.
$30 an
Like,
hour. That's like,
kinda
50,000 a
was.
year, right?
I understand
Close.
where
I don't know the math.
taking it to where like back then was better because we didn't have to combine these two, like
What do you
love
mean?
and marriage. Like
No.
back then it was like, okay, we got married because you can do this for me, you're of this stature, and we'll work. Our families, will be
Absolutely.
combined. We'll have a mutual beneficial relationship. That's the marriage. And love didn't have anything to do with marriage.
Absolutely
so it's
not.
like we can be in love with each other. We don't have to, take this anywhere, but just being us and being pristine and, being,
What you
we
are.
just have this love between us. Now, today, it's like, okay, I love you. We got to get married, but you don't make that much money. So how are we going to work? Like, we got to joint bank account. We got to do all this and we have to do all this. I'm so sorry. Did we get everything?
Yes. Go ahead. We got it. Go ahead.
Okay. So,
Like you're rapping.
So I definitely understand where Alan's coming from. I don't really think that where we are right now, it can get to reverting back to
It should.
older. Not to
Time.
say that
Yeah,
it
it's
wouldn't
freedom.
be great.
But I'm going to tell you why it should. Go ahead. I'm going to let, after you finish, Rico, I'm going to tell you why.
So it exists. It just doesn't exist in certain places. And this is part of the crippling thing of being free, right? When you're free, usually you try to explore all your options, even at your own detriment. Versus back then, you had a role, right? If you had your role was your role. You honored your role. You took your role and you loved your role and you embraced your role. Nowadays, even if you're given a role, you fight your role because you know that you have the opportunity, which is a good thing, to excel past that role. Also, to go below that role if you do fail. So now what ends up happening is now with these roles and the freedom of roles, now we've embodied the monetary sense in our relationships, right? Because if I am somebody who's exceeded my role and I want somebody who's going to exceed their role, the problem is 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen.
Wait. But when it comes like to money being the basis, is that what we're saying?
Well, I'm tying them all in, right?
Okay.
Just give me a second.
Okay, yeah, because you lost me.
So what ends up happening is I'm somebody, not saying I'm in real life,
A person.
analogy, right? In America, 2022, we're land of the free, right?
So much freedom.
It's so much freedom.
Hot girl
Whoa.
summer.
And now I go ahead and I'm somebody who's beating the odds. I'm part of the 10 percentile. And now I'm making $120,000. And now I have the nerve to be entitled amongst 90% of people.
So you're royalty, technically.
Because you're royalty, and now you're like, I want more royalty, but not realizing that there's not that much royalty out there. And then what ends up happening in comparison, back then, it was, hey, if I was the farmer, I was the farmer. That was it. A woman didn't care if it was like, okay, if I got the farmer, a farmer's still good because he's still farming the cattle for our village. If I got the carpenter, I'm cool with the carpenter because he's still doing all the carpentry for our village, and vice versa, right?
And it worked.
And
makes
it
sense.
worked because everybody stuck to the role and everybody was for the bigger picture. Nowadays, everybody's for their own bigger destiny. And then with that being said, you want somebody that's going to contribute to that destiny, to that legacy in this specific country.
But I have a question for you, Rico.
I get it.
But what is that? I have 2 comments. The first one is I want to go back to the minimum wage thing, where how it can work. But I have a question for you. If there's 1 million people who are completely free, knowing they could do it, if the numbers say out of those million, only 100,000 will succeed at it. 900,000 will not. Why do people still go and not just be like, let me find my place?
Gotta try.
You know what? Nah, it's not what it
What
is.
if? But the numbers
The numbers are not in your
with you.
favor. No,
Odds are against
I understand the odds may not be in your favor.
Please help. Yeah.
But I believe that we in America, and maybe other places, but like we've been brainwashed to believe that, you know, the more hard work you do, the more connections you make, the more this, the smarter you are, the more education you have, that you can go outside of what you've been all your life. And the thing is that we've actually seen it, you know, but sorry, we've actually seen this happen. And so I think when you see it happen, it gives you like, oh, it's a little hope. I can actually do this. Chris did it. Sheila did it. So clearly I can, because Sheila ain't smarter than me, you know.
Can I tell you one thing I learned about business a long time ago? And it was one of the most, it hurt me because I was one of the people that they were talking about. This rich dude said to me, you know how the rich get rich and stay rich? They provide hope to those that will never get there.
Yep.
So if you have,
And at 8 at the table, we're trying to make you happy.
and we try to make you realistic,
And realistic and happy. Like,
So-
we really trying to make you realistic and happy.
you have 1 million people, what 900?
A million people. 900 is...
is never going to make it. Right.
This is numbers. This is real
Yes.
numbers. This is backed by numbers. That's a fact.
Yeah, 10%, right?
Yeah.
So 900,000 people are never going to make it. It doesn't matter what they do. They're never going to make it. But the 10% is the crippling hope for them to continue to their own detriment down this dead-end road.
What I read a while ago, and I remember I read this maybe like 10 years ago, and I thought it was interesting. It says that back in the 1,000 years ago, being of a name royalty was everything. You were a king or queen or blah, blah, right? Then they said that changed. Then being a gentleman became everything. You were a gentleman. Gentlemen didn't work. You came from family wealth and you were considered everything. I don't know what the other two was, but they said fast forward in today's time, this had to be 10 years ago or more, coming from nothing to something is everything.
Yeah.
Even people who are born rich tell you they were born poor, because you can't be royalty in 2022 if you can't prove that you came from nothing.
Stories.
A lot of people who we admire, if you look at their real history, a lot of them come from wealth. And they come from a lot of wealth. But you can't tell people you came from wealth because it's a turnoff. Only thing that people are turned on by is something from nothing to something. And that's probably the narrative we're using in relationships. And just to go back to the part when we talk about a minimum wage, and I know this might seem ideology and like poetry.
Poetic.
It might seem
Idealistic.
Idealistic.
I feel like if I make minimum wage and you're a great cook and one of our parents got their own home, one of our, like,
One would have none.
I'll work. You cook. That means you could feed the kids and me. I'll work with my job and we could really have a good life. If it happens for us more than that, great, but we could really have a good life. But nobody's going to go for that.
That's not, you know why? Because there's Instagram that exists and TikTok and YouTube where you can watch people live better lives than you.
But it's okay. But you know what? You're not going to be happy. So you're going to be part of you want to lose or win.
But this is the hope for them.
We can't, all right.
They're drinking the Kool-Aid and don't know what sugar is in there.
It's that white sugar.
But like, and in a realistic standpoint, I was one of those people who watched people on Instagram too and got motivated. Where I was like, yo, I'm not going to be sitting here clocking in when they tell me and calling me on my days off. And I'm going on Instagram and watching people on boats. I want to be on boats too. But I use that and I'm fortunate to be one of the ones that were able to do that.
But maybe you reveal your entrepreneurship spirit.
Yeah. But everybody thinks that they are entrepreneurs.
They're not.
Everybody thinks.
I'm just saying that they're not.
So we're not trying to be morbid or stoic here.
Yeah.
But
just a little bit.
But just a little realistic.
No.
A little realistic,
Well,
you know.
we got to say it again. Big shout out to 8 at the table again. Erin said it, and when she dropped it, 15% of people, when she started telling the numbers about what what successful.
Oh, yeah, who makes
When
what?
everybody was talking Birkin bags. I haven't heard people talking about Birkin bags in a while.
Facts.
Me
Right?
neither.
Well,
Why? Because we calm down the energy.
yeah.
All right, and I
made
think
it
that
reality.
people. I think we need to. If you're.
Oh, Shorty said, except for me.
It's ma'am. So, but what I'm saying is like, I would like people to feel a little bit more realistic when it comes to dating and relationships. So, what's more history about? Tell us more. I want to hear all this stuff. What do we got? Look at Erin.
I mean, this cheese.
Dandy card right here. Let's talk about how monogamy came
Okay.
or came about, right? So,
Where's the other card? Oh, you got it. Okay.
a fun fact about the history of love in regards to monogamy is that there was a battle for monogamy from the 6th century to the 9th century.
300 years.
Yes, 300 years. Between Christianity and the nobility battled it out. The church won, and monogamy was seen as the guiding principle. So monogamy has been the guiding principle for about 12 centuries, right? We're in the 24th.
1,200 years, yeah.
1,200 years, monogamy has
Won.
has won. But mind you,
Allegedly.
right? Mind you, 8 at the table is telling everybody in the 21st century that you can make your own rules.
But here's a quick, I don't know if it's a rumor, so I'm going to look this up, but this is the rumor that I heard. I heard that back in the day, priests were allowed to have multiple wives.
Really? I've
Priests-
never heard that.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
The Catholic Church allowed priests to have multiple wives, but the priests started to become extravagant with their spending on the women.
They still are.
And then,
Boy,
that has
the
not
words out of my
changed.
mouth.
and then they cut it off. And then the Catholic Church passed a law.
Pastors.
They not pastors, the Catholic priests. They passed a law and says 1 man, 1 wife, because this is too expensive on the church. This is the time when the church ruled. Kings were ruled by church. So I'm gonna look it up now to see if it's real.
This
but Amanda,
specifically said that the church won the battle between Christianity and the nobles. So the church won, and the church pushed monogamy. And, specifically speaking on this one, Christianity pushed it from our sources. Now, granted, there are still, I believe the biggest religion in the world is Islam,
I think so.
right? Where Islam does, provide the opportunity or ability
Multiple
to
wives.
possess more than one. I believe it's less than 5 though. Yeah, so 4 or less.
4.
4 or
Right. So
less
up to
wives.
4, right?
Yeah, up
okay.
to 4.
Okay.
I said it right. I just said it backwards.
Yeah.
But which is crazy because then we got to also realize, where are we? We're actually in a Christian country, Christian-based
America.
country, right?
I have a question. Do you think, and if we were just going on the perspective of religion in Islam being the most dominant religion in the world, and if every man in here had the right and the legal ability to have up to 4 wives, do you think that most men in 2022 could actually deal with having 4 wives? So financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, everything.
Are
at
these
all.
why? Can I ask one question before Alan answers?
I'm not gonna say nothing.
The context of this question. Are we saying could they deal with it with
Tad up.
non-existent negativity, energy, hostility?
No. It's
Oh no, that you.
No,
women-
it's accepted.
They're gonna bring that.
from the other
Women are gonna bring.
Yeah, because in 2022, if I decide to take Erin and Amanda, I know that the way that you two might have been, raised and believed to be monogamous, and now I try to bring you to a non-monogamous state.
No,
it
it's
might-
socially acceptable.
Yeah, it's
There's not
socially acceptable.
literally.
We can do this.
So
Yeah.
all women are it's cool to be
Yes.
with
There's
more
no
than one.
There's no
If that-
jealousy.
if that was the case-
Yo, I get
get
50% of success rate.
I say
That's
this.
pretty high.
I give you 75% success rate. Do you want to know
But-
why? under one rule and one rule only. As long as the man don't put these women together and marry them for his own lust and purpose.
Yes.
If he puts these women together because they each contribute something for the growth of the whole team, yes. Because they each are strong.
And isn't that
they make
typically
a
how it is,
unit,
though?
the strong, right? So if this one, let's say she's an attorney. She protects the law of the family. She understands this. The other one may be this, and the other one may be this. When you put that together, you got a corporation.
Yeah.
But if you out here just for yourself,
You got a union.
so you could eat, nah.
Nah.
You're gonna
We're
lose.
also talking about this day
Because
and
the lust
age
will still
in
die.
2022. In 2022,
Mm-hmm.
men being who they are, what
Some
they
men.
make,
Some men.
whatever.
men. It's men who they
whatever
are.
y'all doing right now.
Yeah.
Whatever y'all doing right now.
Don't y'all
however
me.
much.
Are you not a man?
Are you a man?
No, I'm not that man.
It don't even matter. Whatever man you are in today's age, 2022, in the United States, however much you make, however you're living right now, can you handle 4 women
I've been handling 4 women majority of my life.
at the same time?
At the
And these
same
are wives.
damn time.
Wives. So I'm not talking about no little side piece. I'm not talking about
Every
a little fuck here and there. That's not what I'm
doesn't-
talking about.
Actually, it is, because what actually ends up happening is that most side pieces are or have been there for a long period of time. There's a lot of time and investment that has been spent with that person. Now, the only difference is the transparency between the side piece and the main. That's the only difference.
That changes the dynamic.
It doesn't.
does change
It doesn't change the
But you
dynamic.
just gave the
when
freedom that
said
you don't have to do that no more.
Exactly.
Right.
You just gave the freedom not to do that no more.
But that changes the dynamic because you may not even be worried about that side piece if everything is right.
The side piece is going to be there.
You don't know. What I'm saying
She's
is
saying that the wife don't care if you got a side piece as long as she's good.
yeah, and there may not even be a need for a side piece. Is what
I'm
saying.
trying to. No, there is. Well, that's what I'm saying. The side piece, to what she's saying, is considered a wife, and what we're trying to. That side piece gets a lot of the same treatment as his main, if not more. So what I'm saying is, men that have been having side pieces for long periods of times in their life, they've been dealing with more than one woman for a long part of their life.
But the only difference is, can I just say this? This is my opinion.
All right, go ahead.
I would agree with it. If I make $50,000 a year, I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to look for 3 women to marry that makes $50,000 a year.
50. Yep.
And now we have
No,
200,000 altogether.
Or a total.
Now with that 200,000, that's a little bit under 20,000 a month of income. We're gonna live very modest. We're gonna make investments together. You're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna build something. By the time the 4 of us are together for 10 years, we should be worth about $10 million or more.
Yeah.
Easily.
We're gonna
got a
build
team.
something. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna go on vacation. We're gonna communicate. If therapy is needed, we're gonna take it. But we're gonna build something, because I'm getting both. I'm getting 3 women to love. I was about to say 4. I'm getting 3 women to love. Well, I'm loving myself.
There's 4 people being loved.
And then you're building something. That's why I think the success rate would be high if men thought like that.
Well,
But
that's
most
why-
men aren't gonna think like.
But that's also what I believe is part of the battle probably back then.
You mean space?
If you get to a point, see, this is why monogamy in most times is detrimental to a person's or a couple's growth, because it limits the ability when you only have 2 people to actually balance everything out. You have you and you have me. So now you only have 2 people, 2 sources of income. You only have 2 sources of resources, right? But versus if you had 4 to 5. If I had 4
lot of
people in my
resources.
house
It is. I don't disagree.
that were resources building with income as well, or hell, if we had 3 of us providing income and 1 of us was taking care of the home, hypothetically speaking, that's still a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
And that's amount of ability for everybody to grow. But I'm not a big Kanye fan. But shout out to Kanye, because I did hear, I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but he did say that there was an attack on love based on monogamy being pushed. That's what he believed.
He said love is cursed by monogamy.
In a sense, like, yeah.
Can I ask a question
that.
since we're talking about
I agree.
monogamy? Who do y'all think established monogamy?
Oh,
We just
didn't
told
say
you.
the Christians.
We just told you.
No, but okay, so established. So who was running the church?
No.
Oh, you trying to say man? Duh.
Because it became too expensive. Because
Right.
men got off
I just
track.
find it very ironic that the same men who established
They always watching
and
the podcast.
pushed monogamy want to push back on the shit now.
No,
I
it's
just
not the
find it
same.
very
We're not-
ironic.
We're not pushing. First of all, we didn't establish it.
Who established it?
Not when I say we. There's two groups of men. There's men today that say I don't want more than one
A lot
girl.
of men say they won't do it.
And there's men. We had shout out to Bernard.
At the
right?
end of the day,
Bernard.
you have to live according to the rules of your forefathers. Men did X. Men established monogamy. The church was run by men. The church established and pushed monogamy. But I just find it so fucking ironic that men don't want it anymore.
Y'all.
But
You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you just get to up and change your damn mind? That's what I want to know.
But that's like, okay, if you want to play that route, we can play that route, and I could be like, well, there are women that say I don't want to work, and that has been longer than the rights
But
of
who
women.
established it?
A woman.
Oh, that was the women's movement.
No. Actually, it wasn't. It wasn't.
So
The-
you're
you got a computer right there. You can look up why women enter the workforce. Please look it up. That has nothing to do with the women's movement.
Women enter.
And
the-
we talked about this, and I told y'all that's wrong.
Because first of all, I'm listening to people on Instagram. Women are telling me Instagram, TikTok, all these social medias. Women are going viral saying, "I'm tired of working. I'm tired of competing. I don't want to do this." So like it was like, all right, well, the same other women that did want to be enter the workforce and be CEOs have made it harder for the women that don't want to work.
Agreed.
So, but what I'm saying is,
I could read the definition.
Read the definition of
According
what?
to Brooklyn.edu. I don't know who Brooklyn is. But
It's
official?
It's official.
Okay, several factors contribute to this rise. First, with the event of mass high school education, graduation rate rose substantially. At the same time, new technologies contributed to an increased demand for clerical workers. These jobs were increasingly taken on by women.
That has nothing to do with why women even enter the workforce. Entered the
Why did women
workforce.
enter the workforce. I'm sorry. I just.
That's not-
what I googled. Type it in. Google's your
Oh my
friend.
God. Oh. Okay. That's what we.
Here.
They'll start-
want to do.
Here, no, you don't.
This is gonna become a research battle. All right. This is why I need my
I wanna
iPad.
find it on Google.
This is why I need my iPad. I'm gonna be over here doing my little research.
This ain't what
So
they want.
look. I'm gonna say this, Amanda, while Aaron's doing some research, right? I had a theory about monogamy and polygamy, right?
Okay.
My theory was men stopped polygamy because women had such a hard time getting along. It just stopped being worth it.
Wait, who
Because
had
when you have 4 women in the same house, in the same field, in the same this, between the petty arguments and all of that, the men was like, yo, you know what? I'm just better off with one. So they was like, yo, just stop it.
What I was actually thinking was, because you have a good point in, saying that you're going to marry, women that come with this amount of income and all together, you guys are going to be great. You guys are going to be worth this and that much.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. But you're also forgetting the fact that you're going to have 3 women looking to you as the head of the household.
Which is fine.
So you have to cater to all those women. Like, it's not all about financial. And I just don't think that men have it in them to do that.
To be like emotional.
To be the head of the household for 3 women.
Yes, as long
Sometimes
as the
they
women,
can't really take on the one woman that they do have.
Let me tell you something. As long as a man understand that women, and this is not in a derogatory way, can be very catty, and you can't pick
You
up.
couldn't pick another sentence?
I don't have another one. But what I'm saying is like you can't respond to every catty thing a woman does, especially if you have 3 of them, because they're gonna go, oh, why you spent an extra 10 minutes with her over me? Why you did this? You really have to be the type of man that could say, hey, listen, this is how this is. And like you really have to have the ability to lead. So that's why it would work. But they will each have to bring something equally to the table. They would have to, because it's gonna be too exhausting if they don't. All right.
But this is what you wanted.
Which one on? We
See,
can
like,
It's supposed to be exhausting. Hello?
no, it's not. It's not supposed to be exhausting.
Government website.
a government website.
She about to come guns blazing.
Because I'm going to read it all. And no offense, Brookings Institute is legit.
It is.
But-
I got that from you.
Yeah. But I will say this. You have to go back to the historical facts. I'm going to read this whole sentence, or 2 paragraphs actually.
Take your time.
And this is from archives.gov, so it's a governmental site. All right, so we know it's not bullshit.
Yeah, it
Women-
is.
Okay. Women have always worked outside of the home, but never before in the numbers or with the same impact as they did in World War II. So I didn't want to say this because y'all going to second guess me. I wanted y'all to come from here. It was the war. All right. Okay. So prior to the war, most of the women that did work were from the lower working classes, and many of these women were minorities. So we know they were black, and I think we all knew this. There were a variety of attitudes towards women in the workforce. Some thought they should only have jobs that men did not want, while others felt women should give up their jobs so that unemployed men could have a job, especially during the Great Depression. Still, others held the view that
the Great Depression was before World War One. I mean World War Two. I'm sorry.
yes.
So women started working.
No, wait, no. No, it was after.
Great Depression
Wasn't it?
kicked
Great
off in
Depression
1929. World War Two. I'm not talking about World War One. World War Two.
Yeah, too. Wasn't it the 30s?
World War Two kicked off in 1941, 42. 42 really,
Okay.
and it was over in like
Depression
44.
actually
Y'all on y'all
before
global
World War I.
regions.
World War I is actually what saved the depression.
Y'all doing good.
Straight
Hey.
Brooklyn right now.
Okay. So let me finish. So still others held the view that women from the middle class or above should never lower themselves to go to work. These and other viewpoints would be challenged with the United States' entry into World War II. While men were off fighting a worldwide war across the Atlantic and Pacific, women were called to take their place on production lines. The Man War Power Commission, a federal agency established to increase the manufacture of war materials, had the task of recruiting women into employment vital to the war effort. Men's attitude towards women in the war and the workforce was one challenge to overcome, but surprisingly, women's own ideas about work outside the home had to change as well. They had no choice. Two of the primaries, yeah, that's it.
All right, women had to come out to work when the war was over. When the men came home from war, it was like, go back in the kitchen. And the women was like, hell no, we're going to start a women's movement. We're not going back to the kitchen.
It wasn't starting a women's movement. It's like you had something to do outside of your home. You weren't just sitting at home.
So you're telling me,
You're
I
making
just
an
came from
excuse.
war.
It's not
I've
an
been in war for 3.5 years. I came home. I've been with you for 12 years. I've been gone for 3. We've been together 10. I come home. I'm used to for 10 years. You being in the kitchen, you being at home, you being with me. And I'm like, oh, baby, all right, I'm home now. I just got a big job. Let's get back to normal. And you're like, no, I don't want to get
But you
back to
do.
normal.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. You know, a lot of them literally couldn't go back. PTSD. Some had eyes blown out they socket. People who had injuries. So the thing is that we don't realize the injuries that people come back from war today.
More mental.
No, I'm saying you can get sewn up. You can get a surgery. You can get plastic surgery. You can kind of be yourself. But back then, you came back with half your head chopped off. You came back with a missing eye. Like
Some
a lot of
did.
these.
And some people
No,
came back
it was a
home.
lot.
Okay, what's a lot versus the percentile of all? So like if there's 100%,
with injuries.
probably
That-
20 to 30%.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
high.
lot.
But that's not majority. 70 to 80% of those men are still able to work and still able to get. Now, granted, mental was a whole
Yeah,
different.
the mental, I think 90%
Yeah.
probably.
That was the first thing I said. PTSD. So you have mental ailments, and you have the physical ailments that you develop from the war.
But
There
those-
were men coming back trying to
but
work.
that's not meaning that they cannot
Men
work.
got what? You know who said something I thought that was interesting? Tiny said.
Well, y'all
Tiny-
be loving to argue against these facts.
No one's arguing
Those
with
facts
you.
were
I
not
know, you
actually
can hold on to.
They're not.
conducive to our conversation.
But
No, it answered the question as to why women went into the workforce. It had nothing to do with the women's movement. It had to do with necessity. And we
yeah,
can't paint that narrative.
When men
I'm sorry,
came back
Lonnie.
home,
Actually
we
found
asked,
some more
when
information
men
that
came back home,
I'll
we
come back with.
they asked y'all to go
Can't wait
back.
for you.
Tiny, who's married to T.I., she said that when T.I. went to jail one time, he was gone, I don't know how long, but he was gone for a little bit, a few years or something like that.
I remember.
She said she was like working and very independent. She got so used to it. But when he came home, he was like, oh, I'm home now. I'm about to make the money again and do everything supposed. And she was like, I don't want that. I want to keep being out and about and working and earning my own money. She had gotten used to a new system.
Yeah.
So World War II probably introduced a new system.
Absolutely.
But when you fast forward to 2022, a lot of women are complaining they don't want to do arduous
Arduous, yeah.
jobs. They're like, yo, this is too much. a lot of women are like, I'm not trying to be in the back of Amazon truck for 11 and a half hours.
Be at the bottom. What's the definition?
So I'll say this.
Hard labor.
I don't know.
Can we say hard labor jobs?
Promise you, if you say something.
I just have a question.
Marie, just come sit right here.
I have one question.
No, you can't. You. Oh my Jesus. You don't understand.
No checking
that
account.
whole thing that you're saying, I have to edit because nobody's gonna hear it. Unless you want to come sit here.
Please come, Marie.
They got those rights now.
Please come, Marie.
Those rights.
Bring your little chair.
Not her little chair. Don't be trying to.
Like when people be like, "Oh, you got your little job.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. Your little job.
Your little job. You got your little check.
Your little promotion."
Your little raise. What they give you, 50 cents?
Right, exactly.
On the little chair.
You did. Just don't.
No, I got it. I got an apple box.
Because it's like you're killing me because I think we forget it's not just about the workforce and that women literally had no rights. Anything I owned once I married my husband was his property. So if my father left me $20 million and a 200-acre estate, $20 million, that Creole's coming out, $20 million
USD.
I have no rights, like
To
as
it.
a human being, not even as a woman. How is that fair?
What year was Queen Elizabeth and all the queens from? There was a bunch of women queens. A lot of women had power throughout history.
Okay,
Those are
I hate
anomalies.
when people use outliers as the
Yeah, as the rule.
as the common
That's
rule.
what Aaron did with the priest that decided to make monogamy. That was an outlier.
That's not an outlier.
How is it the same as me and Alan?
No, because the
Men ran the church.
No, we understand that, but those men that ran the church is probably make up 1% of all men.
No, you forget that the church ran the
Everybody. Thank you.
world. The church ran the world. The church ruled kings.
Which is why you had religious
They ruled
wars.
the whole empire, excluding.
That's why Protestants came about.
That's how King Henry VIII broke from the Catholic Church because he wanted to divorce his wife, and they said no. So he said, "I'm going to create." You can't
separation.
give me an heir, so I'm going to create the Church of England. So I'm going to create the separation. So when you're saying that the church created
say the church.
monogamy, they had the most power to do it. How can you create monogamy if you don't have that much power?
But those people in the church, rightfully so, were probably men. Can we agree?
Yeah, we said that.
they were men.
Okay.
The men had all the power.
No, not the men. Those men. Like, that's the point I'm trying to make. It wasn't the men had all the power. Those men have and still have, by the way, the power. So we can't, those are outliers. Those are probably not even 1% of all men who still probably dictate.
This is how we exist. A few make the rules for the
For
mass.
all, yeah.
So even to today,
Yes,
right?
I agree.
All right, listen. We only got a couple minutes. What? Here, no. Stay right here. No, because I know you're a true feminist, right? But what I'm trying to say is this.
You
Aaron,
was just talking shit about feminists, but okay.
but what I'm trying to say is this.
Some.
Why don't we talk about what works? Because I think that,
That's a good point.
and I get, and not I'm gonna say we got a lot of shots in the comments on YouTube and everything else, especially YouTube more than anything because they watch a full episode. And they say, you guys really talk from an advantage standpoint and you guys are not
Agreed.
really talking from an everyday standpoint. So from an everyday standpoint, what we're trying to tell y'all, this is what works and don't work. Stop chasing
The hope.
like the hope. If Ray ain't it, or if he is it,
Better go holler at Pookie.
Pookie.
I'm tired of y'all in these names, child.
No, but I'm just saying, find somebody you could build something with. Because I promise you, listen, I'm 45 years old, right? And I've been outside since 18. So when I was 18, I was impressed by a lot of people who was 25. By the time I was 30, a lot of those 25-year-olds weren't doing nothing. I don't even want to tell you what I saw by the time I was 40. So it ain't what you think. You got to get yourself in the position to be okay for tomorrow. And
So how do we do
you
that?
got to start when you're 20.
Yeah.
Start.
What I'm saying is
Be
like,
specific.
Yeah.
what's working is this.
You got to start when you're 20. You got to start thinking, I'm 20 years old. Let me start thinking about having kids when I'm 29 or 30. Let me start thinking about all this other stuff that I need to do so I don't lose when I get over the hill of 30.
Do you know biologically that's like almost nonsensical?
That's not true. There's a lot of people in their 20s that are very, very smart.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about intelligence.
What were you thinking when you were 20, Erin, the Renegade? Because this one right here,
Wait, 20 or
Amanda,
20
her
or
whole
25?
mindset has changed.
I ain't gonna lie, I was partying my ass
but
off at
you're
20.
fast as hell. What happened?
What were you doing?
Partying my ass off
Okay, as was I.
in college.
As was I.
Having the time of my life.
I was doing something different. I was making money just in the worst way.
But Rico, do you want to hear something that's so crazy?
Life.
And they said exactly what we just said. Because you knew it was going to happen for you. You knew that.
Not
there
a
was
man.
something inside of your
Not a
body.
man now.
But there's a lot of women and men who are not even sure if tomorrow's going to happen for them. And they're taking the same risk as people that's going to happen for. There's a lot of people, let's say if I don't have no money, right? But I'm hanging out with 3 friends that are very rich. Your future's pretty much secure.
You're
But
gonna
I'm
get
hanging
money.
out with you and doing things with you like mine's is secure too. I'm partying with you like mine's is secure too. I'm doing everything with you like mine's is secure. Mine's is not secure. You are your own security. A lot of us have to understand. We come from a broken home, some of us. Some of us don't have a lot of advantages. You don't have that security. You need to figure out how you're going to put that security together early.
Can I say
Can I give you
something?
an award?
No, please don't.
So-
touch me. No.
No,
Give Alan an award, everybody. This is the
Alan an
first award,
That
Alan.
is such a
I have the. I'm so thrilled to be able to hand.
let me
Thank you so much.
Marie said that didn't deserve.
really,
Wait,
really,
you gotta get 2.
really.
You need both.
Now, if they're twerking, they're going to twerk together. There we go. They gotta twerk.
One band, one sound.
Anyway, highly misogynistic. But I just have one thing.
Yo, why is it always gotta be a negative word? Why can't we just have our opinion?
girls
Yo,
back.
I just said it's misogynistic.
I need a word for every time any woman says anything remotely negative about men that I can call them, since y'all want to use misogyny.
Man bashing.
You can.
No, there's a.
Intelligent.
I need.
Not when you live in a patriarchal society, but Erin, go ahead.
So this is my question.
We can't do that.
No,
now?
this is my question for Alan.
Sure, I'll go mean.
Yeah.
This is my question for Alan. So Alan, let's just say we take what you're saying as far as like young people needing to be more proactive and more thoughtful and deliberate about whatever they're doing at 20 years old, so that at 35, 40, they're in, this great space. My question is, how do we do that? Because in my mind, you know what I believe that requires that? Your mama and your daddy. Your mama and your daddy got to be there.
Thank you.
2, your mama and your daddy got to know better.
Thank you.
3, your mom and your daddy gotta know better and be doing better, because you can't you cannot tell your kids to do something and then believe you and you've never done it. Like, it's hard for your kids to digest it. They like, you need to go to college, but mama, you ain't go to college. Mama, you didn't do X, Y, and Z. You didn't make all A's, but you pressing me to make all A's. You know what I'm saying? So while I understand what you're saying, like, what is the solution for that? What are steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? How do we get there?
I'm not gonna question my mama now.
Oh, baby, mama and grandpa and grandma, everybody can get a question. Everybody can get a question.
You, Erin.
I don't know
Everybody.
why we believe in that narrative. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it necessarily needs to start off with what your parents are doing. It needs to start off with what you truly should know what is right and wrong. And it may be
Who teaches you that?
the world teaches
Ate at the
you that.
table.
Your parents.
No, wait,
like
slow,
in-
wait.
We
slow.
got to get off. Go ahead. Rico.
God, yo,
Let him
okay.
finish this.
Finish that.
No, because
we gotta
it's real.
we gotta charge the laptop so we could come back because we're not going live till 9. I just
be for real.
no.
Yes,
Let's
you
take
can.
10 minutes and come back.
Oh.
Listen to this,
Hold
guys.
your point then.
Hold your point. We're gonna take a 10-minute break, but I just want to say one thing. Most parents who it did not happen for, and I'm not gonna say my parents because my parents have always been supportive, or in competition with their kids.
I agree.
They become
I agree.
in competition with their kids.
Don't make a general
Mama be like 44. It didn't happen for her.
Wow.
Her little 22-year-old daughter, 21-year-old daughter is about to pop off. Now she's competing with her.
I seen that. I've definitely seen that.
I don't know.
I've seen it with my
didn't
own
happen
2
for
eyes.
But let's
We're gonna take 15 minutes. It's 7:58. We're gonna come back at 8:15.
It is actually probably. I would.
Close out or
I believe, Marie, that
we can do 15 minutes. Let's do 15. Let's take a 10-15 minute break. Come back.